Hello and welcome back to another video. And Phillip Schofield is a gift that keeps on giving. At this point I could be turning this channel into the Daily Schofield, or the Daily Schofe, since that's the Twitter handle he uses, or at least used to, since now you go to it, just says I don't tweet at this account anymore. I wonder why. So ITV bosses are saying the fate of the show, so it's the fate of the furious. After the Phillip controversy. Well, yeah, there's plenty of controversy, that's one word for it. Of course, everyone's wondering, will this morning get axed? Of course, ITV is saying it won't. This morning is not under review. There are no plans for the show to be axed. This morning will return tomorrow as normal. Well, of course, tomorrow, Monday, it will return as normal. It will return as for the time being. I think it will go. Where are we now? Coming to the end of May. We've only got a few weeks until they sort of break up for the summer. I don't know whether this morning, does it carry on over the summer? I don't know. I haven't watched it regularly in a long time. I know they have like an autumn season later on in the year, obviously. Around about autumn time, I would say. And then is when they make all sort of big changes for things like that. Introduce new dramas and so on, new programmes, get rid of some old ones, even though some just stay forever. I think what will happen is they will get rid of This Morning. They'll get rid of Holly. Holly is toxic now. She knew what was going on. She claimed she knew nothing about it. Yet she, as I said yesterday, she worked with him for 14 years. They even went on holiday together sometimes. And to think she knew nothing about anything he was up to, it just does not make sense at all. So, yeah, I think she'll be gone. I mean, she's due to come back the week after next. So taking a couple of weeks off until half term is over for kids and things, and then they say she'll be back. But I think they'll sort of bin her off. They'll have Dermot with the awful Alison, what's her name, that one, until the end of the summer, and then they'll break up, and then they'll just end the programme. And then in the autumn, they've been talking about that tedious couple I mentioned, Rochelle and Marvin Humes. They talk about them taking over. I think what they'll do is they'll just have a brand new show, but it'll cover all the exact same bland topics. So great, perfect for this bland couple. So all the same topics. It'll run for the same length of time from 10 to about 12. It'll just have a different name and a different set. It costs them barely anything to make a new set and just have a new brand. And if they do that, it stops any guests coming on saying, "Oh, where's Phillip today?" That kind of thing. Just sort of wind them up live on air. They'll just know that they're starting from afresh. So that's what's going to happen with that. Mark my words. But just before we get to what Dr. Ranj said on Twitter today, more revelations about Phillip Schofield. Because he said, he got the boy a job on his programme as a runner when he was 18, but they obviously knew each other beforehand. And it turns out this is the Mail on Sunday, so you can take it with a pinch of salt perhaps, but he was just 15 when they met. Yeah, so what's an old man in his 50s doing, meeting surreptitiously a boy who's 15? That's if they didn't meet before. I think someone said he was 90. I mean, I'm not going to name the lad's name. It is out there on Twitter, but I'm not going to name him in this piece, and they blur his picture out anyway. But apparently he was 19 in 2017, so that would mean he was 15 in 2013. When they were chatting then, maybe he knew him before. So 2017, 19, that would make him about 25 now. But so it says the Mail on Sunday can reveal he was just 15 when they met. Well, that's maybe what he's admitting to, even though that's bad enough. Today, this newspaper can reveal a real reason behind Schofield's extraordinary statement on Friday, in which he finally came clean about the relationship and apologised to the Mail for lying. I doubt he apologised to the Mail on Sunday. No one apologised to the Mail on Sunday, because it's absolute gutter press. It says at the time the schoolboy asked him for a job, Schofield later arranged an interview for him. It led to a position as ITV production assistant or runner when he turned 18. Sometime afterwards their affair began. So clearly they knew each other for quite some time. And they're leaving the Ivy Club. Good Lord. The 61-year-old was forced to confirm allegations of an affair were true because his former lover, who also worked on This Morning, had unexpectedly confessed all to his lawyers. Schofield had hired top law firm, Michon de River, to represent the young man, now in his mid-20s, presumably believing he would keep quiet. Big mistake. But his former lover, who the mail service, the Mail on Sunday has chosen not to name, probably a good thing, told lawyers, although he feared exposure, he was fed up lying about the relationship. Well, Philip has been lying to his wife for about 30 odd years. And there's also some links to topics I've covered already, but it says Schofield met his future lover at the school in northwest England when he was in his late 40s. Some years later, the younger man became a production assistant when Schofield was in his early 50s, and their ill-advised relationship, which grew into friendship, grew into a relationship, started. Now, he's 61 now, so the lad is 25 now. So he was 18, what year are we in now? 2023, so he was 18 in 2016. Try to do some maths. So Phillip Schofield is 61 now, minus 7 years would take him to 54. So if he's in his late 40s, at the very least, go back to, let's say, 49 to be generous, which would make the lad 13. It's not looking good for Phillip Schofield, is it? And we get on to Dr. Ranj, who's on a tweet today. There's quite a lot to get into, so I'll go into it shortly. Lots of journalists have been contacting me this weekend inquiring about this, so I think it's only right that I clarify things. There is so much more I can say, but for now, I hope you do say much more later, but for now I hope my concerns will finally be taken seriously and something good comes from all this. His bio's there, and he's got pronouns in his bio, and whenever somebody has pronouns in their bio, it means they're a very important person, and you have to listen to them. That's what they signify. So let's get to what this says. I've thought long and hard about posting this, but if I'm honest, I really wish I didn't have to. But I've got to clarify some things that have been reported about me, and in the light of recent events, I finally feel I might be believed, because I'll just add that he left the show last year, I understand, after he'd been on it for about 10 years, and he was like he's a medical doctor, and in addition to his GP work, he would appear on this programme as well. So separate from his work and not interfering with that, as I understand. There's a fair few doctors who do the same, turning up on morning shows. To the journalist who's offered me money this weekend to share my experience of working at This Morning, thank you, but it would go against my principles to sell my story, especially about something like this. However, given that ITV have commented on my departure, I feel it's only fair for me to do so, to avoid any further conjecture. I was on the show for 10 years, and I genuinely loved and valued working there. Maybe you will be on the new show when that starts in September, no doubt. Maybe they'll call it, I don't know, Not Quite This Afternoon. That's a snappy title. However, over time I grew increasingly worried about how things were behind the scenes and how people, including myself, were being treated. I didn't know the truth about what was going on with Philip. He's put Philip with a single L and it's a double L. But I do know the issues with TM This Morning go far beyond him. Yeah, because he's now talking about who knew what and when behind the scenes. It takes more than one person to create a culture. It takes 4 people to create a culture club. So, yeah, and very well they were as well. Very good they were. So I did what I thought was right, and as ITV confirmed last night, I raised my concerns about Martin Frizzell's behaviour. He's like one of the managers, and I've known the name, but I can't remember exactly what he did. And the environment at TM with Emma Gormley, probably at ITV as well, especially given that my job is to look after other people's well-being, and I've been heavily involved in diversity, anti-bullying and mental health projects across the channel. I then found myself being used less and less. Yeah, because you start putting your head up above the parapet, and it gets shot off, because they don't want to know. I even took my concerns directly to the top of ITV. The culture This Morning had become toxic, no longer aligned with ITV values. Well, Holly is toxic. And I felt that because I whistle blew, I was managed out. You could just put blew the whistle. Is that past participle of whistle blow? I don't know. It's not a grammar lesson, this one. But as history and experience have taught us, things like bullying and discrimination are very hard to prove, particularly in hindsight. And when the quote-unquote people in power control the narrative, as we've seen, no review or investigation is foolproof. Still, I was assured that certain things were going to be addressed and changes made. I haven't worked on the show since, and I'm not the only one who has spoken up or experienced similar. That was 2 years ago, and quite frankly, it still hurts. The whole process was pretty heartbreaking and even affected my mental health. But I'm happy to say I found my feet again, know my worth, and have found my tribe. So my general message to everyone is, look around you. Yeah, look around you. Excellent BBC Two spoof educational programme with Peter Serafinowicz. I really do recommend it. It's probably on iPlayer. Is this a place you want to be? Do you feel valued? Are you thriving or just surviving? Do you need to speak up? These are lessons I've learned from my time in this industry. I say it all with respect, kindness, and a desire to make things better. There are some good people in TV, but we need to be brave and stand up to those who aren't. Even if it's scary as hell, we have to do the right thing, otherwise nothing will change. I severely hope something good will come from all of this. So, yeah, that's Ranj having his say. So, and that was today. I'm recording this at what time is it? I'll get it online shortly, but I'm recording it just before 7 o'clock in the evening on the Sunday, and yeah, so it's all coming out on a daily basis. Drip feed, drip feed, drip feed, drip, drip, drip. It's very fascinating. We'll also just add, I live in Stockport, but I don't watch football, but I know Stockport went to play at Wembley today, and unfortunately they just missed out on penalties by one. So yeah, unfortunate, but congratulations to Carlisle. You know, it's only a game at the end of the day. It's a funny old game. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Not about football. I don't watch football, so anything but I'm not bothered about that. But yeah, about old Schofe. Let me know your thoughts about him. In the meantime, we'll see what's happening tomorrow. In the meantime, please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already. Do subscribe, because there's plenty more to come of this, I'm sure. What I was up to? For a train of thought. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click on the bell for all the notifications. Q Genesis.